Okay, hello. Let's continue our discussion. Still on the topic annuity. Let's discuss yung mga previous topics natin before. And we're done with um, four types of annuities or four conditions or situations for the application of the concept of annuity. Next would be deferred annuity. What is deferred annuity? A deferred annuity is one where the first payment is made several periods after the beginning of the annuity. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Okay, from the term deferred, no? So it is not immediately implemented. That's why it is deferred. So ibig sabihin, the annuity already started, but the payment, no, yung payment natin is deferred. It started after several periods already. For example, in this cash flow, so nag-start tayo from zero. Then after 3 years, meron tayong doon lang nag-start yung annuity natin. Okay? So, what are we going to do? How do we solve this particular or problems that involves deferred annuity? Okay. The formulas, itong formula na derive, okay, below were derived using the concept of equivalence and equation of value. So basically, we're going to apply the concept of economic equivalence. That means if we want to solve for the present worth of this annuity, this periodic payments natin, and this payment is made started after 3 years. Okay, so merong 3 years doon ka lang nag-start na mag-pay or mag-deposit ng payments. Then if you want to solve for the present worth of this, ang gagawin natin, we're going to set a focal point. That's what we always do when we apply the concept of economic equivalence. We designate a focal point in the cash flow. So it can be anywhere, any point in the cash flow diagram. But usually we would try to analyze first the situation and try to identify the most appropriate point. Although you can use any point naman dun sa cash flow diagram. So in this case, ang gagawin natin to solve for the present worth is that we need to designate a focal point. Let's say at this starting point, maybe 4th year siguro ito. Let's say this is the 4th year, that would be our focal point. Ang gagawin natin, we're going to isolve natin yung value of each payment or deposit. So transfer natin, solve natin yung value niya from the first year, okay, papunta dito sa 4th year, first year ng payment natin. This will be the first year of payment, and then i-transfer natin or i-solve natin yung value niya dito. So let us set this to be 0, okay, and then itong year 2 papunta dito, and so on, no? Transfer natin or solve natin yung equivalent present worth at the 4th year. And then after that, after solving for, let's say, X for the value of this payments in the 4th year, so X na lang ang ilagay natin. Then we're going to solve for the value of X. Again, i-transfer ulit natin yan papunta dito sa present 0 ito. So dalawang beses tayo mag-solve ng values, no? So itong periodic payments natin, we're going to solve for the value of each periodic payment relative to the 4th year, and then from the 4th year to the first or at the beginning of the annuity. So if that is the case, so alam natin yung formula before, we have discussed before kung paano mag-solve ng present worth ng mga annuities natin. So this would be this entire term. Okay? I-multiply natin yan sa yung factor natin. Since we are solving for the present worth, then this would be negative. M would be the number of years or periods, no, from itong beginning nito. So papunta doon. Magkaiba yung N at M. N would be ito, yung number of periods ng annuity natin. Yung M would be number of periods or years papunta doon sa may point na sa beginning of annuity natin. Okay? A different scenario would be kapag you want to solve for the future. Okay. The same, we're going to use the same concept pa rin. That means we're going to solve for the future worth of each periodic payment. So, transfer mo yan sa future. Solve mo yung future value or future worth of each periodic payment. Okay? And after that, transfer ulit natin using this factor. Nakuha natin to sa compound interest, no? We have discussed this before. Multiply natin yan to transfer again from the certain focal point papunta sa future, future worth or future value. Okay, so basically we're just going to apply these two formulas, no? Or you can forget these two formulas and just apply the concept of economic equivalence or the equation of value. So you may actually forget this and just apply the equation of value or the concept of economic equivalence, because na-derive lang naman to using those principles, no? But in case para mas mapadali yung solution natin, we may apply these formulas, derived formulas. Okay, so that's the concept behind deferred annuity. Okay. Okay, let's try to solve the first problem applying the concept of deferred annuity. So on the day his grandson was born, a man deposited to a trust company a sufficient amount of money so that the boy could receive 5 annual payments of 10,000 pesos for his college tuition fees, starting with his 18th birthday. Interest at the rate of 12% per annum was to be paid on all amounts on deposit. There was also a provision that the grandson could elect to withdraw no annual payments and receive a single lump sum amount on his 25th birthday. The grandson chose this option. So letter A, how much did the boy receive a single payment? Letter B, how much did the grandfather deposit? Okay, so meron tayong grandfather that deposited a certain amount. We do not know that amount, so that by the time the boy, no, yung kanyang grandson ay 18 years old, college na siya, makaka-receive siya ng 10,000 pesos each year. So on the 18th year, meron siyang 10,000 hanggang matapos yung kanyang college degree. So ito, 5 years ito. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So siguro na engineering ito. No? So 18 years, 18th year, 10,000 hanggang so every year yan hanggang the 22nd year. May 10,000 siya. Okay, so merong option na hindi niya kukunin yung 10,000, yearly na 10,000, at kukunin na lang niya as a single lump sum payment on his 25th birthday. So ito yung pinili ng kanyang grandson, kukunin na lang niya as a single lump sum payment sa kanyang 25th birthday. So question natin, how much did the boy receive as a single payment on his 25th birthday, and how much did the grandfather deposit. Okay, so let's try to solve letter A muna. So how much did the boy receive as a single payment? So on the 18th year, okay, mag-start tayo dito. So it's a deferred annuity, of course. So hanggang sa 22nd, may 10,000 every year. Now, ipupunta natin sa 25th year. So kumikita pa rin siya ng 12% interest per annum, no? So how much is the payment on the 25th year? So, yung cash flow diagram natin. So we're going to apply the equation of value, or we can simply apply the derived formula for deferred annuity. We have derived dun sa module natin. We did not derive dito sa video, no? So ang gawin natin, so let's apply muna dalawa lang yung solution natin para ma-compare natin yung solution, although they have the same answers naman, no? So let's apply the concept of economic equivalence. That means we're going to determine a certain focal point in the cash flow diagram. Okay, saan kaya yung focal point natin? Okay, so di bale ang value nito ma-receive niya on the 25th year should be equal to the value of this periodic payments. Okay, that's the essence of economic equivalence. They are equal in terms of value. So yung value ng lump sum amount on the 25th year should be equal to the value of this periodic amounts, no, on the 18th up to the 22nd year. So how do we do that? Where would we assign our focal point? So we can choose the 17th year, or we can choose the 22nd year na lang. So i-transfer natin lahat. Ito, hindi naman transfer na. We're just going to solve for the value of each periodic payment. So yung 10,000 on the 18th year, what would be its value punta dito sa may 22nd year, and so on, and then what would be the value of x, since our focal point is at the 22nd year. So i-transfer naman natin yung value ng x. What would be the value of x on the 22nd year? Remember, x is located on the 25th year in our cash flow diagram. So yung value i-transfer pa ganun, transfer hanggang dun sa may 22nd year. Okay, so how do you solve for the value of x sa punta dun sa 22nd year? Ano to? Compound interest. So that would be equal to, magsuratan, x times 1 plus I raised to n. N in this case is negative, since to the left yun, no? To the left. Pag to the right yung movement natin, that should be positive, no? Since to the left, so and that should be equal to ito, the value of these periodic payments, and that would be A times A would be 10,000 in this case. 1 plus I is to n is 1 over I. Okay, so ito again, this equation is when we solve for the value of x on the 22nd year, and this term defines the value of these periodic payments on the 22nd year. Then we substitute, we are solving for x, and x is the 25th year, yung lump sum payment natin on the 25th year. So we have x times 1 plus our rate of interest is 12% in decimal form. So 25 to 22nd, that is negative 3, and is negative 3 in that case. And then A here is 10,000. 1 plus 0.12. Now n, magkaiba yung n nito doon magkaiba yan. Okay, so ang n dito would be from 18 to 22nd. Okay, 18 to 22nd. Ilan yan? 5 minus 1 over 0.12. So we have one and only equation. We can solve for the value of x. That x again is the value of the lump sum amount, and that is equivalent to 89. So we have 89,252.931 pesos. Okay, that's it. And then we can also use the concept of deferred annuity. So paano yung deferred annuity natin? So we are solving for x. X in this case is s. Let's just write down the formula muna. Okay, so ang gagawin natin, the same principle actually. We're going to transfer yung amount dito. Is we're going to again choose this focal point at 22. Yung focal point natin the same pa rin, that's 22. Kukunin natin yung amount ng annuity na to. Kunin natin yung amount ng periodic payments na to papunta dun sa may 22nd year. We're going to solve for the equivalent value of these periodic payments on the 22nd year. And then again, after we're done solving that value, again we are going to solve for the equivalent value of that amount on the 25th year, which is actually the value of x. Okay, yan yon. So if that is the case, n natin is still 5, and m now is equal to 3. Ito. So instead of using f, our notation is x in this particular cash flow. So let's change our notation. So annuity is 10,000, and the periodic payment is 10,000. 1 plus our rate of interest is 12%. Again, n is 5 hanggang sa focal point natin na 22 over i is 0.12. And then 1 plus 0.12 raised to m. Again, m is from 22nd to 25th. So that is 3. So they should have the same answer. That is equal to 89,252 pesos o 253 pesos. Pag ni-round up natin. Okay, so that would be the solution for letter A. Now let's go to letter B. Okay, let's letter B. How much did the grandfather deposit? No. So magkano daw yung dineposit ni lolo para makakuha yung grandson ng 10,000 on his 18th up to 18th and up to 22nd year. So magkano? So we can have several solutions for this. Maybe we can discuss at least 3 solutions siguro. And let's try to compare. So again, we're going to use the concept of economic equivalence. We need to choose a certain focal point. So itong periodic payments natin, kukunin natin yung equivalent value niya dun sa 0, kung saan nag-start yung annuity natin. Okay, so how's that? So maybe we can choose the 17th year. Okay, ito dito na part, cash flow diagram natin, the 17th year as our focal point. That means we're going to transfer or solve for the equivalent value of this annual payments papunta dun sa 17th year, and then from the 17th year transfer ulit natin, solve natin yung equivalent value niya at the starting point of the annuity. Okay, let's try to do that. Okay, 17th year. So year 17 as a focal point. Okay, if that is the case, since we're solving for the present value, formula natin, so N would be, so still 5 years itong periodic payments natin, so N would be 5 of course, and M would be M. So 7, since our focal point is 17th year and we're going to solve for the equivalent value at the present or at the starting point, then of course M is 17 or negative 17 since pa left yung ating movement. Okay, so 17 yan. So solve natin yung present worth. A is 10,000. Negative 17. Okay, so the present worth should be 5,250 pesos. It's the present worth. Okay, now ano pa yung mga possible na focal points natin? Let's try to solve it using a different focal point. So kanina 17, year 17, maybe we can choose yung ginamit natin kanina na focal point sa letter A, the 22nd year. So year 22 as our focal point. Okay, so in this case right, that means we're solving for the future worth of these periodic payments. Okay, so the present value then is equal to yung annuity times 1 plus I raised to n over I. So raised to negative m. So in this case n is still 5 years kasi 5 years naman yung periodic payments natin, but our m would be mag-iiba yung value ng m natin. So kanina yung 17, year 17 yung value ng m. In this case since year 22 yung ating focal point, then m is 22, negative 22 no? Since we're solving for the present worth. So the present worth is equal to, we have 10,000 times this factor. Okay, so the present worth should be the same, ano? Magkaiba lang yung focal point na ginamit natin. Okay? So you can choose any focal point in the cash flow diagram. Another solution is using the value of X. Yung X kanina is the value of these periodic payments on the 25th year. That's the lump sum payment that will be received by the grandson. So we can use this value of X to solve for the present worth of these periodic payments. Let's try to do that. Okay, so if we will use the value of X, then parang compound interest ito, ano, yung present worth ng isang future amount. So that is, if that is the case, then our formula is equal to, so we have F times the quantity 1 plus I raised to negative N. So N, so yung 25, that's the value of X on the 25th year. So 25, from 25 kunin natin yung value niya on the origin, or the starting point. So N obviously is negative 25, or yeah, N is 25. So P is equal to X, the amount po yun, na-erase ko na. 89,252. So we have negative 25. The present worth should be still 5,250.153 pesos. Okay, so you may solve this problem using different focal points. Try nyo. In this case, we have tried at least three possible focal points or solutions.